Okay, so it's just like after 3:30. Last night was so weird. I swear to God, I just feel like all the days just keep getting weirder and weirder and weirder. Like I feel like I am literally in a dream, and it is like being in a dream, and it just goes from dream to dream to dream and weird interaction. Even when I'm asleep, it's like I'm still in the same state where I can hear myself just thinking and doing things and going places and talking to people. It's weird. And what was I gonna say? Because yesterday afternoon, so I went to the hospital, and I have a whole story to talk about that. So but just going in from the side door into this, sometimes it's like, where do I enter into this conversation? But so this side door I'm coming in is when I got back, I was only gone for a few hours. It was weird. It's so Krampus. And then when I got back, she was all excited, and she was up doing some stuff, and she was doing really, really good. But she's still being really whiny, but I can't figure out if she's whining because she's lonely, I just can't figure it out. To me, it seems like she just is dissatisfied with something. So she just sits and whines at me. And because it's like, I've done everything possible I can do. What more can I do? I've already done it 2 or 3 times now this morning. What more could I do? And then she'll just whine at me. So it just seems like it's like she's just dissatisfied. Like I've just reacted all the time to her whining because I was always worried about her health. And then, so now she just uses it like a little kid, or, I was thinking maybe I had tea left. No. Like a kid who starts using whining when they're like 2 or 3 years old or something. They just start whining about everything. That's always an ordeal. That's where I feel like I got stuck with her or something. So anyways, but so she fell asleep. It was like 4 in the afternoon. And so it was already starting to get dark, and I was so tired. I was like, okay, I'm just going to lay down now and go to sleep. We'll be up in a little while anyways. It'll just be like a nap. And so I went to sleep. And every time I get woke up, I'm just so out of it. So out of it. Like, it is just like the same as being woke up in a dream. It just keeps being like that. And so I fell asleep right away. And then she woke me up, and it was 8 o'clock. I was like, oh my God. This is wild. It's like my nights just get closer. Like, it's still the same evening. But anyways, I laid down at 4. I wasn't expecting to go to sleep for the whole night. So all she does is sleep like a few hours, but my longest time of sleeping is at night. And I mean, I could try and sleep all day. I could just sleep. It's just like having a child when you have a baby who just sleeps little bits of time. And so anyways, I just had to sleep around her schedule. And so hold on, try to swallow. How my throat is like, I don't know, maybe it's kind of closed up or something. And plus, whatever, all this post-nasal drip. And this is on all of this stuff. Like the that medicine stuff. I'll show it again because somebody didn't know what I was talking about. Because not everybody knows all the codes, I think, that you have to use. You have to speak a lot in code because you're not allowed to say things because of censorship. But anyways, that black seed oil, burdock root, like mullein leaf, like all this stuff, and I still, and I still, even after all these different things, I still feel like that there's something living inside of me, not just like one little worm or something. I feel like that I get these weird sensations in parts of my body where it's like, it's got to be worms. Like, what the fuck? So I don't even know. And then when you sit there and think like, we're not even flesh and blood, like this isn't even real. What is in my fucking head? Last night I was feeling like they were really in my head. That noise thing from that one movie, it's already going like that. They're already doing that. And They've been doing it in my head for a while. I've been talking about it for a couple of years now, and it's horrible. And it's fucking loud. And then sometimes it comes in like a real hard, like loud thing. And it's just going to keep getting worse and worse. It's like, fuck, man, it sucks. It really sucks. But okay, so anyways, we got up. It was like 8 o'clock. And I looked at my phone, and the neighbor had sent me a message as she had put something out for me and Stella on the fence. So I walked out there, and it was raining now. And so I walked out there, and Stella jumps up. She is so freaking cute. How she takes it so serious about she's got to go out the door first. She's got to make an announcement. She's got to tell people, you know, she's coming out and I've got her. So you better watch out. Like, and so I go out, go to the fence. She's getting all worked up. She doesn't know what's going on. She knows something's going on. So we go over the fence. It's not there. So I try to see on it, go around to the other side too. It's not there. And I'm thinking, well, it's raining. She probably brought it in because I didn't answer. So I go in and look, and she had sent it like at 4:30. And then she thought I must have been asleep. So people started catching on, like, it just goes. But I'm up all the time in the middle of the night. I just have a weird schedule. It's not like I'm just always asleep. It's just I have a weird schedule. And so, so I texted her, and I said that it wasn't out there. And so she said she had brought it in, but she would go set it out. And so we went out again. Oh my gosh, and still does the whole thing again. She's got to make her announcement. Here I come. And she gets all excited. Like when she gets to do her work, she gets so excited. And so then she looks to see where we go now. And I show her which direction. So she's got to run over there. And the whole way that she runs and stuff is just so cute. She's got so much energy right now. Like that medicine is really, really making a difference in hers. Like way different, I think. And so we go over there, get our stuff off the fence, and come in. And she had put the stuff in a stocking. And Stella grabbed that stocking and she started shaking it and getting this stuff out. I've never seen her do that before. I've never seen her get so excited. I've never seen her open a package like that. But she does, like, we get boxes, you know, her box from Chewy, like she'll get boxes that come from Amazon and stuff. And we'll open them and get real excited. And she'll get her treat out of her box and she gets so excited. And so we have made it a thing. But so she got so excited about that stocking, and then there was treats in there for her, so she got so excited. But it was so cute. That was the cutest thing. I couldn't believe it. And yesterday I kept thinking, you know, because I'm sure, you know, that there's people around here and stuff who think, oh, the poor old lady, she's all by herself at Christmas. And you know, like I think Crystal had even said, you know, well, I hope your family surprises you and shows up, which I know that wouldn't happen. They've got way too many people. They don't even have enough space in their car to fit them all. They're in that place in their life where they blended two families, and now they're kind of, you know, their space hasn't caught up with their expansion yet. So I wasn't expecting anything like that. My one daughter messaged me and said, you know, how much she misses me and misses seeing me and stuff. But anyways, this is the way it's supposed to be. You know, it's supposed to be like this. But I was thinking a lot about the different stuff, and you know, just all these different things about Christmas, about with the people and stuff. And I was thinking, you know, because I did get to have a lot of really good Christmases. I got to have a good experience with that, with my kids and stuff. And it is kind of sad, you know, that these people all just want to have this, like, this idyllic little happy Christmas, and, you know, create this fun memories for their kids and make traditions for their families. Because everybody started making traditions around Christmas. I mean, even one, as so many people talk about, like the Christmas casseroles. Everybody's got these Christmas casseroles. Everybody gets up and has their casserole already going in the oven. Like, everybody is making these traditions, like American Christmas or whatever. And, you know, that's what they want us to focus on. Just stuff like that, where we're not really celebrating. We're just celebrating and spending. But that's what kind of, like, It's kind of like we're the fairy energy. We come in and make it all like pleasant and decorate it and make it fun and festive. So like the humans make the best of it, but they're kind of like the fairies because they're always making things better and making it prettier and trying to, but you know, they're just right now, they're just so misdirected, but more of their natural kind of way of being is more connected. They're kind of going against their own nature in this disconnected, which adds to their discomfort and their feeling of alienation. But it's like they do it to themselves without realizing it. So, oh, my nose is so stopped up. I can't barely breathe. It's so crazy, man. But I went to the hospital. And I swear to God, I think that they shoot sickness out of the vents. And I've seen another person doing the streetlight things where they're shooting something out of the streetlights. And then I just saw somebody who was on an airplane, and so they're videotaping as the people are all coming on, you know, and so everybody's standing up, putting their luggage in the thing, and they're totally spraying. They're totally spraying the people as they come in. Like, what? It's just a long spray. And nobody even acts like it's uncomfortable. Nobody even acts like it's out of the ordinary. Like every flight, you just get sprayed as you come in. Like, what do you think that they're spraying you with? Like, why do you need to be sprayed? Man, my nose is so stopped up. I can't just start blowing it. Anyways, so let me think. Because okay, I feel like I'm already all over the place. So Stella, her health improvement, and that cute little thing, like that to me was like a cute little memory, is that these Christmases are different than any that I've ever had before, but they have their own unique thing, you know, because this is me breaking free from tradition, breaking free from the control that has been on my mind, and letting go of those kind of parameters, you know, just like whatever. Now I think it was my 60th is when I was determined to not give that birthday value like that to be like, I'm not going to, I just started seeing it different. I started seeing it as this parameter of measurement that they give us that captures people's minds, and then they begin to live the experience out. So they begin to age following this pattern of definition, when the opposite that you can do is look at your space-time as your window of opportunity of experience to come in and experience with the people who you have encountered with, and so that you can, it's like that's how you get the most out of your experience, out of your growth and everything. Right now, though, you just got to remember that all this stuff is different. Like our transition, all these things are in a transition period. But when you think about what souls are doing and why they're doing it, and they're going through these experiencing these living encounters in order to increase their knowledge of experience and their abilities to, it's like recognize their own selves. So it's you know, the soul wants to do all this. I just can't believe how many people I hear talking so opposite like that. Like some of the stuff I hear spiritual people saying is just, I don't know. There's like a bunch of them. Just right now, I'd have to think of them. Maybe they'll come to me in a minute, because I still have this, oh my God, fucking so much snot down in my throat and my nose and stuff. Let me think. And of course it's raining on us. And yesterday it was so fucking ridiculous. They will say it's like almost 40 degrees. And you go out, everything is total ice. She has her little pool out there. It's the only damn water she wants to drink. She won't drink the stupid water in the house. And but I just keep thinking, well, this is what nature is living off of. I can't. Oh God, there's so much, where you just can get so caught up in this feeling of like, you gotta save the world. Right now, too, on TikTok, I can't even barely fucking stand it. I really don't know that I'm even, as soon as I go on for a few minutes, it just is like, oh, it's such a mix of the shallow, there's like both. It just keeps going back and forth, and it just seems like everybody's yelling at you, and it's like you keep seeing one side and then you see this other side. And to me, I align with the side that's not shallow, but everybody's got to break free from that, but then also enjoy their experience. That's why it's so individual. It's so individual what everybody has to go through. And it's such an important part of it is the appreciation of what you're going through and the acknowledgement as it is a part of your experience. But so, I don't know, it was when I was having my 60th. And I was out here and I could have went and, made it a big thing and trying to make a party and stuff. But definitely, ever since I got my brain injury, my relationships had changed so much. My friendships, even how I make friends now or what I look at, just is very different. And so I don't have like some big friend group, to go party or something with. I'm much more of a, I don't know, lone wolf person. And so then so I had decided, but I could have gone in, my family with my kids and my grandkids, and had a big thing and made a big thing about my birthday. And I used to have I had some big parties and theme parties and stuff. Like I would, make a thing of it. There was some times where it was like I had the whole week was my birthday celebration. It was like one celebration after another. So I was very into it there for a while. But it just started being like, when I was leading up to that birthday, it was just really making me question things. It was really making me look at things and priorities and time. And I had already lost that grasp of time when I had got the brain injury. So I had already started looking at time different. But all these things were like merging. And I was like looking at, like what is the point of making some big thing about this birthday? Like it's a tombstone keeps coming to my head because it's like another step towards your tombstone when you do this kind of thing. When you just keep looking at your birthdays like this, I think it's just like the countdown. And so anyways, I was looking at it as like, it's just another day. And just a whole bunch of things like, if you win or if you go through that, you will see what I mean. Because you just like chip away at it. You just start looking at it differently. Maybe you see a movie and you see something and it just makes you think different. And then you look at something else. It's like, it's not just all of a sudden automatic. Like it was little things that lead up to things. It's like, it really is like chipping away for the jewel inside so that you can get the experience, get the information, get the understanding, the epiphany, the the acknowledgement of whatever it is, the factor that you're trying to learn or experience. And so okay, now I'm lost. Hold on, I gotta think back where I was. So the chipping away, where are we chipping away at? We're chipping away at, fuck, I don't have any idea. I gotta go backwards. Hold on. What are we talking about here? But I want to skip out of this. Anyways, sometimes when I hit a dead end, it's like, is that me or did I hit a dead end? Like, I don't know sometimes because really is so much going on. I can hear myself questioning things. I can hear other conversations. I hear a lot of stuff. And I've got to stay really focused on this other thing that I'm saying. So, hold on just a second. So, but I want to say something about this because this was weird. And maybe once I say this, because it just keeps going in my head and going in my head. Because I almost recorded yesterday from it. It was as soon as I got back. It was just so chilling. And it was just having me go in all these directions of how I was thinking. And so, I went down to the hospital. And it was pretty straight shot. Like, I just had to go on the state highway and then just turn on a road and then turn on another road, and then the hospital was right there. And so I went in and I took all this stuff. I got up and made her stuff, and then you can't take any of it. You can't take any of the stuff in there. So I couldn't take her any of her. I went and got her some sodas and cookies and stuff. So anyways, I couldn't take any of that stuff in there. And so went up there and went in to see her, and it was like heart crushing too. She's very closed off, like she doesn't like people to touch or anything. And as soon as she saw me come around that corner, I'm probably getting emotional. Because like I said so many times, it's like you see a little kid. You don't, you see a little kid that is scared. And she's gotten moved to adult. She just turned 18 the other day, and she's already on adult. She said they'll take you right that day. The day you turn 18, they'll take you out of kid and put you in adult. It's like, it makes no sense. And they're stupid fucking times. It's the same thing with the motherfucking birthday. All this fucking bullshit with their fucking times, and get a license here, get this there, finish school there, go here at this time, at this. It's like, fuck you with your fucking bullshit. Get old, now you're this age, now you're old, now you're, it's like all their fucking control on time and on our minds. And so she came, as soon as she saw me, she jumped up and came over really quick and started hugging me. I was just like, oh my gosh, that really, because she's so standoffish and she doesn't want to be hugged or anything. That really touched me in a way of knowing that what, like touched me in my soul, like feeling her despair, sadness. This system has just fucked so many people. It's just, fuck. It's so hard to watch. It's hard to watch people struggle in it, and then they don't see what their struggle is. It's hard to see things that people don't see, But, she picked a place for us to go sit and talk. And we were sitting and talking, and she just is super closed off. Like, when you set these kids up that they can't trust anybody, it becomes a serious thing. Like, they seriously don't know how to let their guard down. They seriously don't know how to trust anybody. And I think that there's been so many people in the system, especially in the ones like removing kids from the homes and stuff like that, that have, some other thing. It's like they just didn't have the full story. Like, I don't think that the people who were doing it, I mean, some people were doing it for very mischievous, nefarious, bad things, so they were purposely doing it. But a lot of people that were working in those jobs, I don't think, they just didn't have the whole view, the whole landscape. They couldn't see all sides of it. So they didn't know the damage that they were doing to these kids by going in and taking them out of their houses. And I know that there's some, that needed to have some kind of stepping in of somebody, some kind of, somebody to step into some of these houses. Like, I know that there's some horrendous abuse going on. And then also, though, I know, like, that all has to do with souls. Like, none of this stuff happens by accident. This is all souls coming in and doing these stories, these experiences. These are all set. This isn't, like, we can all sit back and judge and, oh, that's so horrible and that's so horrible. Well, it's what they came in to learn about. It's what they came in to share. They're offering to the universe their experience. So all of these things are set. It is not things just happening. Even abuse and all that stuff. Even all the people. And it all has to do with these cycles and stuff too. So I don't know. People just get really judgy and stuff. Like, how could you go into somebody else's dream and tell them that they can't dream that? So it's like the same thing. And so we gotta, give allowance to all experiences, not be so judgmental. And so even in the cases of abuse and stuff, it has to do too with the people that come into your orbit. See, it's like, and you following your desires, because, like, say for instance, you were following your desires, you really want to help people, and you see a big problem with street people, and so you want to go in and try and help. So you start having an outreach program. Maybe you're a preacher or something, whatever. You start following your dreams and your desires and being a part of that community. And to me, the universe will just start opening up pathways for those things to work out. Like, because then you're following that life journey. And so everything will just start opening up for that life journey. And so it can be through that way. It can be, that you are, every day you go to the same gas station, and every day you run into this same kid who's out there asking for a couple bucks. And so you have this encounter that there's something for you to learn from. And so it is your reaction, your ability, is what you're looking at, what the soul is looking at, is yourself. Like, what do you do in this situation? And maybe it's you see them every day because you're not doing what you should do. There's something different you got to do, and I'm not saying that you have to supply them every day with money, but maybe talking to them, maybe finding something out. Maybe there's some kind of networking, maybe there's something else to it. But to not act like somebody, to act like somebody doesn't exist when you're crossing paths with them, is not being available, not being present in the moment that you're there to experience. And so so it's important to be present in your moments, and then the experiences that come through your path like that. So there may be somebody who crosses your path that you have the opportunity to help, but then there can be a lot of lessons for you, like in boundaries or whatever, different things that you have to do for yourself. So there's things for you to learn in the encounters when you witness yourself, when you witness the encounter, when you go into observation and you watch, when you're not so much in the experience, but when you can step back and look at the experience, then you can witness or recognize what the things are that you can learn from, or the things that are more challenging to you, for you to expand in your own self. So it's it's like a positive kind of thing. And I gotta just say this real quick too, because this is popping in my mind, and this is something I've seen a few times, and it just kind of bothers me, because you know, like you have some of these kids out there right now who seem like prophets or something. And I think it's really important to not start questioning. You don't just start questioning, well, what's this? Or where's this? Well, how's this happen? And all that stuff. They will come and tell you when they have something to pass on. Because then when you are going and questioning them, then you are also, it's like setting them up. Like, I don't know. There's a different way it works to me. It is, especially when I hear some of the questions and then some of the answers. It's like, I think that the kid is trying to answer in a way that is acceptable or something, because they don't. It's like the information comes to you. It's like the man, I don't know how to explain it, but I feel like it's kind of exploitive to kids that have certain gifts, but the kids don't know because they're trying to please somebody, so trying to give answers to all of these big questions. So anyways, just something to think about. So the but it took me off of my other thing. So hold on, let me think back where I was, because went to the hospital and could see, you know, how much she was closing herself off and how much she was not trusting. So I was trying to, you know, cheer her on about that, you know. And then I said something. I always say stuff that's harsh because I think that we all need to hear stuff that is harsh. We can't sit here and just, you know, feed each other's egos, scratch each other's backs and stuff. We got to be truthful. We got to be honest. And she was trying to figure out something about time, and where she was last Christmas was the same kind of situation. And she had already told me when it was our birthday that was a very triggering time. I'd already seen, even with Thanksgiving, because she wanted to have all this Thanksgiving food, and then she went in and she stayed up all night and slept all day. And I was like, man, I just can see a lot of where people sabotage themselves. Like they sabotage the things that they want. And so something I just noticed. And then something else happened. And so, anyways, I found out that this was a very triggering time, which makes sense, right? The holidays, and then your birthday is right there, and your mom is totally dysfunctional. Like, I'm not at all surprised it was a horrible time of year for her. But as an adult, you'll set up these patterns of defeat. So you'll defeat yourself at these certain times of year because you are continuing the pattern. Like, you have to keep your pattern going. So a trigger will happen and something will set you off. And you could look at it as like the universe is giving you a test, an opportunity. That is something that I had just heard some spiritual people. It's a spiritual lady sitting there saying, there is no testing. There is no all this stuff. I don't know. Like, you're supposed to release. I don't know. It is just this way that they look at things is very different than how I look at things. Very different. I don't even know how to explain it, but I just see these people and they explain things, and so it's like I'm just going to keep explaining things the way I see it. Even if it seems weird off of whatever, the spiritual TikTok or whatever. I have another rash on my head too. That's another thing I need to keep away from my phone. My hands start hurting because I know the radiation is going into my hand and my hands start hurting. And then I keep getting this rash and it hurts. And it keeps being right at the front of my head. And I know it's this fucking radiation, all these fucking bones. And so anyways, so when I was talking to her and I was telling her, you know, you got to put down your guard, you know, you got to talk. And we're having this conversation about, you know, because you got to, part of your healing is you got to be vulnerable. You got to take chances, even when you've never been able to trust anybody. You got to take that first step. You got to do things that are uncomfortable. And the thing I said that was harsh was, how many years are you going to do this? Like, you could keep doing this till you're 22, 23 years old. Every Christmas that you're back in the hospital. And it was like, you have to look at things different. You have to catch your patterns. You have to see your patterns. You have to be aware of yourself so that you can change things. I didn't say all that, but she's heard me say that stuff before. But I had just made the point, that you can keep doing this. Like, time will let you do whatever you want. You can keep repeating your patterns over and over and over. You can find yourself 4 or 5 years from now looking back and how many years have I done this? It's like, because I had a harsh reality with that when I had to recognize my own patterns of my dysfunctional parts of the relationship. And I had to see like what I was trying to get from the relationship, what I was willing to surrender in myself, and all of the different dysfunctions that I had to go in and reprocess and relook at. And and I was telling her yesterday, it's so much about letting yourself out of the prison that you create in your own mind. You imprison yourself. You can't be vulnerable. You got to hide yourself. People may judge you. And then when you get so trapped in there that you can't even come out and talk about things because you're just in there, it is a true prison. It really has your consciousness just trapped in there, just beating it all day long, defeating it, making it feel helpless and hopeless. And you've got to bring yourself out of the dark. You've got to take a risk. You got to take a chance and speak. And then the sadness that comes with that, the sadness that comes with depression, and how many tears can just keep flowing and flowing and flowing, the pain behind the isolation. And so, but the individual has to break free. It is, I keep on hearing, break free to the other side, break on free to the other side. And that is truly what it is like. It's like, I kept telling her, it's like a prison break. You got to make a prison break out of your mind. You got to break free. And you got to notice it. And she was crying, and, I know that she was listening, but it's very hard to put it into work. Like, people can plant seeds all day long, but to go out and to put it into action, like when I'm sitting here saying things and stuff, you can listen to me, but then you still have to do the work. You're still the one who has to put the stuff in action. You can listen to me talk about something. It's not going to make any difference. The difference is when you start doing something different, when you start breaking your patterns, when you have recognition of your own toxic behaviors so that you can reassemble yourself, so that you can stop following your patterns, the patterns that were just set up out of toxic behaviors, toxic experiences, and trauma. It's trauma-based responses and stuff. And so, but you can break all those patterns and start living different. And that's completely even different than just a spiritual thing. I think it has an attachment, because when you're living your truth and you're healing yourself, that is your spiritual journey. Because that is what it's all about. All this other stuff that they keep saying, it just is weird. And you have so many saying so much stuff, and maybe it's just the way they perceive and the way they look at things, and but all I can say is it reminds me when I hear some of that stuff is why I'm doing this, why I'm out here saying this stuff. Sometimes you can get lost. It's like, man, am I just another head on a stick sitting out here, screaming out what I think, what I believe, and just a fucking room full of talking heads. It's just a lot of people out there screaming about what they believe in. In between, you have people just selling stuff, like, it's so shallow. And then you have people who are falling apart. Oh my gosh, sad stuff, man. Some sad stuff on these family Christmas things. And fuck, I just heard one girl telling a sad story, which to me it was going so much with what, the hospital experience, that, it's just like another girl like that, only she's a little bit older. And this girl was adopted, but her adoptive parents treat her very different. And I've heard this from so many of these, like, the people who are happy in their adoption are obviously not out there saying it sucks, but you hear a lot of these stories where the parents really did treat, like, the kids very different. Take them on vacations and not take the adopted kids. This one was the adopted kid doesn't get Christmas presents. They expected to go sit at these Christmas functions. They ask what she wants. They never give her what she wants. They always pull her aside and say, well, we didn't really think you needed it. But this year, they gave her a box of chocolate covered cherries that she doesn't like, and used hospital socks because the dad had just been in the hospital. So they gave her a pair of those socks with the stuff on the bottom that he had already worn at the hospital. And maybe he'd already worn them at the house, and they just all of a sudden were like, well, what else can we give her? Well, we got these chocolates in here. We got these socks. But she has to go to this big family thing where everybody's getting all these presents, and that they don't give her anything. She's already been 3 times where she tried to do herself in, and it's like, oh my gosh, see how the people just turn it in on themselves instead of saying, you know, like, just because these people got a court order, they don't own you. You don't have to go to their Christmases. And yeah, sometimes it's sad, but there's people who are having these kind of experiences with their biological parents too, feeling rejected, like their parents prioritize themselves. And you know, there's a lot of different things going on, but that is a part of the soul's relationships. Because even though she's adopted, I mean, in the weird stories are too, like when you go, like, it could have been very well, like in the past one, that she was the one who, maybe she ran one of these little orphan farms, and these were little orphans that were there. And then so she gets the other feeling because she was on one side of it. So then you go on this other side so you can get the full perspective. That's the thing, is you play both parts. You play the good guy and the bad guy. And even though there's so many people who are in the role of the good guy right now, or the victim, that they get so caught up in the role and feel so bad and feel so sad and feel so rejected by God himself. And then you got these other people who are talking to God himself. And I just want you guys to know, you guys can make fun of them, but they really are talking to God themselves. It's like you're talking, you know, probably to your God himself, your higher self. Like you got to go through your higher self to, it's like your higher state of being, your more advanced self. You're talking to the self that already understands. They've already gone through it. This is the slowed down version. It's like your higher self has already experienced all things, and it can go into any kind of memory, any kind of experience, and slow down and go through the experience. And so that is what it is. That's what being alive is like going through the experience, slow down form, so you can really get the impact of what it feels like. And so all these different people who you know, it's super sad, and it doesn't really help much when I start trying to tell people, like, yeah, but you got a whole soul thing going on. Like, that's where I start being like way over other people's heads, where people are like, what are you talking about? Who cares about that? It's like, well, I don't know. I do. That's how I look at things. I don't know. But I drive people crazy, because it's like, they want to just talk about the 3-dimensional drama and just play the victim and stuff. And it's like, yeah, but that's not what it's like really about. It's really different than that. And it seems like pointless to get all involved in that energy. It seems a lot more productive to see the truth. And I don't know. So anyways, the girl on the video, I just felt bad. It's like, start going on vacation at this time of year. Start, you know, building up your own friend group. You don't have to have a whole bunch of friends to make your own little Christmas thing. There's other people who feel rejected by their families, or, I mean, their families are dead, or they live clear across the state, or, I mean, there's so many different things. I mean, you've got kids who it's real important to, and then their parents are the ones who are leaving and going on vacation. As soon as the kids moved out, they were like, okay, we're free. We're out living our lives now. And a lot of kids feel rejected by that. And so there's all different roles and patterns being played out. And it's all being played out because you were on the other side. And so then you get to be impacted by the other. You can't. This is just how it works, to go and play out all these different sides, all these different roles, so that it gives you the full view. It's how you get your entire view of things. So anyways, that's the whole thing. There's something I had wanted to talk about that was freaking me, the thing that I had wanted to talk about when I had gotten home, where I almost recorded over. So I was, when I left there, it was, I don't know, by the time I got out to my car or whatever, it was like 1:30. And so it was still light, but it was so overcast. It was completely overcast all day. And I've seen some wild sky things. Man, the sky stuff is wild. And so it was like overcast and dreary. It's so fucking Krampus out. And so then I had this feeling too of paying attention. I don't know why. It was like on the way, for some reason, it was making me feel like paying attention, like I needed to pay attention to the road and to the people. And oh yeah, it was because when I very first started, wasn't the first turn, because there's the first turn. Once I got to this other turn, then somebody had crossed into my lane, and I looked over at her, and she's just sitting there on her phone. And so then I was like, oh, okay, I need to pay attention on this drive. And plus, I already feel like everything is chaos. Like if anything is going to go wrong, everything is chaos. This is when all these things are supposed to be happening. And so I, paid attention, went to the appointment, and then turned around and was coming back. And everything seemed like it was going fine. And then I got to this one part, and I'm not even sure where I was when this happened. It seems like I was like at a turn part. It was obviously at a part you couldn't see, you shouldn't be crossing. And so I think it was right at James Street. It was right at this part. Yeah, I think that's where it was. And so these cars were coming. So it was a whole long line of cars coming, because it's a two-way highway. So it's just one lane going each way on the state highway. And so all these whole long row of cars was coming. And I was thinking how trafficy, like, man, there's a lot of traffic coming from out there. Like, where's everybody coming from? Where are they going? Maybe they're going to Christmas parties. Like, I'll start thinking about, maybe they're all going to Christmas parties. I wonder where, and that's another thing that drives people crazy, because I'll say stuff like that. Like, we'll be driving and there'll be a dog, like, I wonder where they're all going. I wonder if they're going to a party. I wonder if there's like else. And people are around me like, oh my God, who cares? What do you think about the weirdest shit? It's like, well, I don't know. That's just how I think. So there's all these cars coming, and they, so I see all these headlights. And then all of a sudden I realized that there was headlights in my lane, because it was like they were all coming and I could see them all, but it was like that same kind of thing when I was looking out at the moon, or looking at that picture with the moon, and I couldn't see the face next to it. And then all of a sudden when you can see it. And so it was like that same kind of thing. And so I saw all these lights coming in the one lane. All of a sudden I realized that there was lights coming in my lane. And that, and real quick, I had to put it together, like, okay, that's solid. They have nowhere to go, and they're coming straight at me. And so I was like, I don't know, just like really quickly, I just put on my brakes and like went over to try and like go off the lane of the road, like go off the highway. And you don't have like those side roads and those, you don't have much on the side of the state highway. It's very limited. And so I just like slowed down real quick and tried to veer off. And this was what was weird, was because it was like, it was like the same time, the same thing that when I was like 16, and this big truck, where it was all of a sudden I knew I was about to hit into this truck. So I closed my eyes and nothing happened. So when I opened my eyes, I was in front of the truck. And I was like, what the fuck? How the fuck did that happen? So it was like the same thing. And so this car's coming at me, and then obviously slowing down is going to make that, because as long as it's the worst impact is head on when you're both going super fast. So the more that you can slow down the impact, they're going to still hit, but and then could fucking go like right through your car. But I mean, I don't know. I mean, you could look at all the different car wreck statistics or something, and maybe hitting both going fast makes you knock yourselves out and makes you flip or something. I don't know. But to me, the natural thing seemed to slow down and try and pull off. And then all of a sudden, it was just like he was gone and I was driving down the road. It was like it never even happened. It was the weirdest thing. Then I was like, what in the world? How did that just happen? Where did he go? What? And he must have, like, somebody must have just opened up enough room for him to slide into there real quick. And it all happened so fast. And it was just so weird. And it was just like the same thing, is where I was like about to be something, and then all of a sudden it wasn't. And then another thing I was thinking about it was, what if in a certain reality that it did happen, that did crash, it was a head-on collision, I did die, and Stella was left back at the house, and my family had to come and, come and get her and come and do whatever, hopefully a Viking burial. Hopefully they didn't have me sprayed on somebody's crops or something. And then but I was like, oh my gosh, I really got in my head, where even when I came in, like I said, it was weird when I came in and we were doing stuff and everything, but I kept feeling like, is she looking at me weird? Am I a ghost? Am I not really here? Like, this is weird. This whole thing is weird. And so that kept really being stuck in my head too, where I was like, oh my gosh, am I a ghost? Did I die? Am I not really here? Did I die in a different reality and then I left that reality? Are we having these little weird mishaps to us that seem like nothing happened, but really we're dying in different realities, and then we are still going in the reality that we are choosing to go into? Because I think that is what death is really like. It is like you can really go back to the heavens, back to a place where you're not just incarnated, but actually being in the heavens is another different incarnation, because it's a different experience. So all the different experiences are all in how just jumping from them like that. And I don't think that that is how it goes like normally, but in this time period where it's like these splitting off, because I kept thinking about this for a while, is how these realities are splitting off from each other, and how it can be a part of somebody's story that you die so that they have the impact, but you don't really die. You die in their story so that they are impacted, but you go on into a different story, and you still have the people who you were involved with that you still have for your story. They still continue, because it's just that reality that you died from. You didn't really die. You just left that dream. You left that reality. So the people who could be impacted by whatever through the experience, but then you just went into another one, but you still have your same people that you need around you. But it can also be where some of the people fall away. So some of the people who don't meet your vibration, that there's a separation where you really die in their world and you keep going, but they just cease to be in yours. And because I've even heard some of this about these QHHTs and stuff, and talking about part of the getting into the higher vibration kind of lifestyle or whatever, And this one person was talking about that they would go and spend time with all these high vibration people, people that were more on their vibration, and they still knew of these other people who were lower vibrate, like family members or whoever, that were still lower vibration. It wasn't like that they ceased to exist. It wasn't like they were dead or anything, but they were just in their own reality, living their experience. And it was like this person had become more aware of these independent experiences and how people are there to learn from the experience. And so there became like kind of like where you can see like, well, there's nothing I can do. Like, it's their experience, and it's this experience that they had decided on. They chose this experience. It has nothing to do with me, just because I have an awareness, just because I can see things, just because I can see, like, in a lot of cases, I can see like the outcome. I can see where something is headed. I can see where something's headed way before it's going to get there. I can tell people where something's headed way before it's going to get there. I can have somebody tell me something, and I have the vision in my head of where it's going to be headed. But then where, do you tell people all the time, well, don't do that because this will happen? Well, if they're supposed to go through the experience so that they can learn, and I'm supposed to learn to not stop people from their experiences. So there's more to it than just telling people everything you see and then expecting people to comply to your vision. As there's, each soul has to be independent in its endeavor, and they have to go out, go through their consequences, through their experiences, because it's their own lessons. So if you turn around and you tell somebody like, well, what's the outcome? What would happen? And they say, well, what I see is blah, blah, blah. Then you stop yourself. That right there is a part of your lesson. So, and then I've interlinked myself into your lessons because I am withholding you from your own lessons. So it's not supposed to, like when I was younger, I would tell people all the time, oh, don't do that. That's blah, 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 blah is going to happen, blah, and I would always know, but then look at, it's like, it's people's life journey. It's their experiences. Like, even if if my mom would have even listened to me, which there was no fucking way, but if she would have, just went and been single and not gotten married and gotten those other kids and all that stuff, she would, it would have been completely different, even though I could see where it was headed from the start, and it never gave me any kind of view different. It always was building, but it was a long, long time. So really, it was like I could see what her life journey was going to be. So how can I go in and interfere and say, don't do that? Then you're changing somebody's whole thing. It's weird too, is because, for a long time, like kings and people who were in charge, they would use people like me who could see things, and they would, because they even show that in the Game of Thrones, and they would take them and say, is this like a good day for battle? What's going to happen here? What's going to happen there? And the people can see this stuff, but then if something didn't go right, then they would kill the person. And so it's a lot of responsibility for you to even share what it is that you see. And it's been deadly in the past, in different times, for the people who rely on the seers to be able to tell them. But when you can see things ahead, you can see it so far that it is a lot of time. Like, it's a lot of time. Like, there's stuff of my own that I can see ahead. And sometimes, to me, it makes me feel more excited or energized towards the future, to where I can miss out on the present and get too caught up in the future of, oh, I just want to hurry up and get there. Just like with the money and the health and stuff. Just wanting to hurry up and get there. I want to hurry up and get in those med beds. I want to hurry up and not have to worry about anything about money ever again. And so just the things, that I can be more jumping into the future, where I want to be into this other period of time. And so that is something that will mess with my head, because I want to, like, I see the future as being so good. I see things as getting so much better that I just want to hurry up and jump through this part. But this part is the impact. This part is what helps everybody get into this other place, this other space of being, this other state of consciousness, is going through this. So all this stuff is important. They have to all go through this. So, and we don't have control over jumping up in time. It's more of you always witnessing yourself and seeing your own inconsistencies. So I can see for myself, oh, you're not being in the present moment. Maybe that's why Stella is whining at you. She's trying to pull you into the present moment because she can recognize that you're always going off in, la la land. And that has always been something that I've always done. Like, I've always was being told, you're a daydreamer. You are always off in la la land. You're never, never in the present moment. And I used to look at it as a bad thing. Now I look at it as like, yeah, because I wasn't as attached to this world as what I've witnessed now with other people, where they became so lost in themselves, so much not being able to be in union with their soul. Like, they let their body, their impulses, because your impulses and your emotions come from your body, from the glove. It's so to get the experience. It's like to get the full experience is so you have these emotions and feelings and stuff. And so that comes with the glove. That comes with the lowering yourself into the experience, into the matter range of being able to feel what you assume what feeling would feel like. Which I think it does a pretty good job. I think it does make it seem like, well, this is what feeling would feel like for sure, when you feel sensation and stuff. But, another thing too is you don't know what every other person is feeling, what everybody else's sensations are. So we're all unique. Like, some people feel tickles where other people feel a pleasant sensation. So we all feel sensations different, and our feelings affect us different. Just like when I'm talking to her and I can see that she's got herself imprisoned in her own prison, in the dark energy that just holds her captive, in the pain that she feels, and but she just keeps herself trapped in there. And trapped in there, her soul can really become, I saw this a long time ago too, and I can see it again, but a soul can really become trapped like a little tiny thing inside of a dark room, and it's kind of like put into the corner. And I think as a lot of people's souls at this point are screaming and yelling, there's so much of a storm inside of people because the soul is sick of being disregarded, is sick of being second, and not being thought of, like people are going with their impulses rather than what their soul tells them. Like, they're not stopping and listening to their soul. They're just running around on impulses. That's that low vibration, that low chakra. That's that autopilot, just reactive in life. It's just running around like that. And so it's very much of everything is about the slowing down and taking notice, noticing yourself, and being aware of situations, looking at the situations not as the victim, but what you're learning from the situation, how you can grow from the situation. And that puts you into a place of power. Instead of powerless, you become powerful. And then when you start looking at your faults or the things that make you different as gifts rather than labels and diagnoses and things that need to be dismantled about you. Like, even when they sit there and say about like these women with the BPD and stuff like that, and so you want women to stop feeling their emotions. It's just because their emotions and stuff have gotten the best of them. And but everybody can get control of their emotions. You don't shame people for having emotions. You don't shame people for having sensitivity. Everybody's got to learn. And it's hard. It's hard right now. There's so much pain and suffering. Like, fuck. The dog videos just are really getting to me. It's just like one after another. All these shelters are too full. They've got all these dogs on these motherfucking kill lists. And then what's going on in England, it's making me just sick. Especially Stella is she's an extra large bully. And it doesn't matter what your size of your bully is. They're just outlawing them in the UK and in Wales. And so by the end of this month, they're supposed to, either their dogs, I guess, apparently aren't allowed out of their houses, or you have to go in and have your dog euthanized, and they'll give you $200 for, just coming. I mean, and what's next? Well, you got too many kids. There's not enough food, not enough air. You got to pick which one you're going to keep and bring the other ones in, because we'll put them out of their misery real quick. And it's just, I don't know, the whole thing. It just makes me sick. I was just crying yesterday. I was seeing all these people, because I kept seeing all these people putting their videos of their dogs and stuff. Some are, I don't know what they're saying goodbye. Yeah, it's just like this fucking heartbreaking. And all of these, big, they all look so similar to Stella. These big chests, these big saggy faces. And just knowing her emotional, just loving nature, just the sweetest thing in the whole wide world. And, knowing that that's what all these dogs are like. And I don't know, people have got to go up against the government. I know they're going to start doing that shit here, where they were already said that they're going to put the bullies down that are left in the shelters. And now they're just over there. They just want to take them right out of your house. It's like, we got to come together. Like, where in the fucking hell? And a government come and tell you what kind of pets you can have. Like, this is just absolute insanity. It is mind-blowing how much people will allow the government to tell them and talk to, dictate. That's exactly what it is. They dictate how you can live, what your lifestyle is allowed. It's like, this is bullshit. I don't need to be a part of your fucking, what is that? Like, how I see it is kingdom. It's like, you got the whole world out here. In this kingdom, their rules are these. I'm not going to go in and be a part of your kingdom. I don't fucking care about your shit. I'll fucking live out here in the goddamn, we can make our own houses. We can live different. Who fucking cares? And we can have our own dogs. We can live how we want to live. And, oh my God, it's so heartbreaking. So all of these dogs that are being put to death, just nonstop, all fucking day. And then these horrible videos. I don't even understand. Some of these people just do these most horrendous videos, like showing this little, like these dogs are being dumped, having puppies, and then they're taking their puppies away. The moms are going into panic. Fuck, I am just so fucking so sick of people just not giving a fuck about other people's feelings. And is disregarding animals as that they don't have feelings. Oh my God, it's just how people are so cut off and so fucking primitive. So, oh God, and devil, and have no feeling to any of God's creatures. It's like, I don't know. It really is getting to me. It's just, I was like, man, I can't even fucking go on TikTok. This is fucking horrendous. You have all these ridiculous fucking recipes, non-fucking stop. The fucking North Sea stuff. They were flooding us with the North Sea, and they're flooding us with this fucking horrendous around the world cruise. All this stuff is horribleness. Even some of these videos, it's like, is this even real? Or are you just sitting here putting out horrible videos? And another thing too, when they won't let you on any of these platforms, you can't say this, you can't do this, you can't say that. Well, motherfucking on Instagram, you can go watch people just be killed all day long. Just go, and apparently they just have live footage that just goes all day of showing this horrible stuff that is happening over there. That's fine. This one girl who is always, she used to just be reporting on celebrities. Now she just reports on what's happening at the Strip nonstop. And constantly buildings falling on people. And Now she's seen somebody pulled from the rubble with a completely flattened head, and she never thought she'd see something like that. It's like, you know, you go and watch this shit. And then to me, it's like, you don't even know if this stuff is really happening. And if you want to get caught up in all the horribleness, there's so much horribleness going way beyond just what's going on in the strip. It's like all fucking everywhere. So even here, fucking taking people right off the streets, just disappearing them right and left, spraying us like goddamn fucking bugs. I don't know, it's just mind-boggling. It's just, and then all you can do is just keep stepping back. And stepping back, you get too caught up in it, and it's just so frustrating. That's why I was like, man, I just got to stop going on TikTok altogether. It's just, you have these people saying weird-ass shit. It's weird-ass spiritual shit that, like, I don't even understand what in the world you think a spirit is, what a spirit is doing. Like, you don't think a spirit is supposed to be growing, or like, what the fuck? I don't even know. It's just this, and then all this horrible stuff with the animals, all this gluttony, all this consumerism. And who knows what today will just be like probably a zillion different fucking videos of people showing their kids opening their presents, and then showing all these. This is one thing too. So as my stomach is just growling and growling, is one of the things too is like, as these people who are out here standing up for freedom, and you know, because over there in this other country, that's where we got to be concerned, not anywhere else, just over there. And so when you are going to be standing up for all of this freedom for them, and then you were going to let me think where I was going with that. So just got lost. Sometimes too, when I get lost, it's like, well, am I not supposed to say that? Or am I just lost? Hold on, let me see. Because the person, and they get caught up in what's going on over somewhere else, not paying attention to their own stuff, what's going on, become hyper vigilant to somebody else's problems, although there's tons and tons of problems everywhere, and they just become focused on this one. And the people who, it's so weird with all these stuff with the flags. It just gets so fucking weird. I just think it's a way bigger thing than what people realize. Like, you just think about, why do they keep waving their flag then? Like, there's something more to it for all of a sudden all of this other flag to be the focus. And but to get what is that? I don't know, maybe I'm not supposed to notice that. I don't know, because I keep hitting into a roadblock, keep hitting back into this same thing with that girl crying about what she had seen. But then to me, it's like, fuck, I don't even know if all this footage is real. I think that there's so much shit that they're making up, and that there's actual footage going on, like with crisis actors and stuff. Even Trump keeps saying stuff about the actors. There's actors out doing this stuff. But it gets people so upset and so burdened. It gets people to pay attention. But it just, to me, is such a roundabout way to, I don't know, just completely get focused over what's going on somewhere else, and not being focused over what's going on around you. I don't know, there's just something weird about it. But that wasn't what I was going to say. But what time? Oh, man, I'm uncomfortable. I'm so uncomfortable. I don't know, I'm just so uncomfortable. But yesterday, though, when I drove and I did that, and that happened again, where it was like they were coming right at me. There was all cars lined up on this side. There was nowhere for me to go. It was just like this little, like a little edge. And I just aimed over there, and I just focused on aiming over there, which he would have hit right into my side because of me going that way. But I just kept thinking, well, if he can just get around me somehow, just loop in there, which somehow it worked, somehow it happened. But that is to me where things don't happen unless they're meant to happen. Like when you're meant to go, that's when those things line up to make you go. When you're not meant to go, it always just shuffles around, like where it seems like an angelic force steps in and moves things, because whatever is not meant to happen is not going to happen. When you're not meant to die, or you're not meant to be injured, you're not meant, because even when you get injured and stuff, it's to set you on a path. It's to slow you down. It's to get you to pay attention. It's to get you to see something you didn't see. So always with injuries and stuff, it is the same thing. It's just to put you somewhere else, put you somewhere different, to get you to learn or grow something. All the different things are. All the traumas, like I don't understand, even with all these people, like how do you explain then so many different things in life, and the traumas and what people go through? How do you explain that if you think none of that is supposed to be real, none of that is supposed to exist, that is a lower form of being in the to think that you are not perfect, that you should only just be focused on that you are a perfect light being made of love and detached from everything that is in the physical, when being in the physical is a part of your experience. So you got to acknowledge that experience, what is the physical, which is different for everybody right now. There's so many people are very caught up in like the 3D experience of the holidays and going through the experience, but you can't say don't do that, because I'm not doing that. You need to not do that. No, everybody's got to go through and create their memories. There's a reason why the things are happening the way they're happening. They're supposed to happen the way they're happening. And so, and we're not meant to control and change other people's realities and what they're supposed to do. They're supposed to do what they're supposed to do. They're supposed to follow themselves. And then following themselves, that leads them to their own consequences, if there is even any consequences from this. It could be for a lot of people, it was their last Christmas and they really want to, enjoy it. It can be for a lot of people, it's definitely the last Christmas of a certain family members meeting, or they're like, no, I'm not going to put myself through that anymore. I'm going to make changes and do something that I want to do for Christmas. So there's going to be a lot of different, scenarios that would play out. And so all those things have to play out. These things have to occur. They create change. They create growth. So just because, I'm like, oh, fuck Christmas, fuck holidays, fuck consumerism, there's still lessons, there's still experiences, there's still experiencers that are out there to play the roles, to bring forth this movement into, it's like another existence, another way of living. But it's like the shedding of all of the old. So everybody's got to go through their process. So, and then when you are ahead of a lot of different people, that's where you got to come into terms with yourself and, realizing you're not here to be over other people. Like all these people are like, oh, they're the chosen and stuff. It's like, wait, do you understand what's happening here on the planet? And the chosen is, once you choose yourself, you're chosen. You've chosen yourself. You've chosen to heal yourself, to take care of yourself, to prioritize yourself, which means a lot of things. Setting boundaries is an important part of prioritizing yourself. And setting boundaries is very vast. It's very independent. So you can't just do an overall, like, these are the rules, this is how it goes. Everybody's got to do what feels right to them. And everybody's interactions with everybody's own experiencers, with everybody's own people that they come into experience with, their reactions are meant to bring up these certain things in you. So it's not meant for us to run around and tell people not to feel what they feel, not to experience what they experience, because their feelings and experiences leads them to growth and expansion. So, it's a big part of the being able to stand back and watch people make mistakes, watch people mess up. Like I said, it's like watching, like you're trying to teach your child for the first time how to tie their shoe. And you've got to just watch these people try and tie their shoes. And they just keep fumbling. And you want to just grab the laces and tie it for them. That's your own impatience, your own inability to watch other people learn. And so that's where you got to look at yourself and think, okay, I need to slow myself down. I need to stop thinking, and just really recognizing that everybody's here to learn from their own stuff. They're here to learn from their own mistakes, their own experiences. They're there to play parts for everybody. And all that stuff is still happening. Even though everything is changing, it's just speeding up. All the parts and everything are going faster and faster and faster. And then it's going to be just like this splat. And then that's like lights come on and everybody's like, what? And sees it totally different. It's like this huge mind expansion will just happen all of a sudden. That will be the Great Awakening. It will be all of a sudden people are going to see things they didn't see. But that's going to quickly turn into a very self-involved reflection, where all they're going to be able to see is every mistake they've ever made, every mean thing they've ever said, every impatient moment that they ever had. It will be flooding them. And all their attitude towards this period of time, that's going to be flooding them. Because so many people have been so hateful and so divisive through this. So many people have been so ignorant to sit there and say that not everybody is going to be awakened. It's just these chosen people and stuff like that. It's like, I don't know, you got to look more into spirituality and stuff. Like the Book of One is really popular. Read that one. And that explains about the harvest and stuff. Like this is a set thing. This is a set ascension. This is a cosmic occurrence. And so this is, it's these resets, it's endings and beginnings. That's what the universe is all about. It's like do a stage play, and then once everybody's played all the different parts they can think of, then it's like it's over, and then it goes on to a new stage play. And so it's a reset. And so they're all over the place too. It's like everywhere. Like I'm sure that you could somehow go and find yourself back in Egypt right now, back in the times when they're building the pyramids. Like if you could get yourself into being able to change your focus. It's a lot harder when you're here in a different experience, because this is when you're birthed into. Because you're a high vibrational being. In order to be into this low vibrational experience, you have to be birthed into it. That's why some of these people, they have to travel around in like spaceships and stuff. And then some of these people who are like more lower vibration and live in the ground, and then it can even be some places that are high vibration that are in the ground. Just because it's in the ground doesn't mean it's low vibration. Because there's high vibration in the ground too. It all depends on the realms. But those beings that Corey Good had talked about, the inner earth beings, that they say that they're us from the future, and that at some point the earth is not able to be, and so they live underground, and it's like a whole city in there. And those people, he said, they even have a room where it's like a meditation room, and they go into these like cubicle kind of things, and they go in and focus on telepathy with us, that they're always talking to us, always sending messages. But see, and I know that all these different beings are always doing that. There's always beings talking to you. Yeah, like I don't know where anybody can think that there's nothing going on in their mind. And that I don't know. To me, it's just like if you just slow down and pay attention, you start realizing like, where'd that thought come from? Well, how did I know that? Well, where did that come from? And you start seeing, and then you start recognizing, oh, there's actually people talking to me. There's people putting thoughts into my head. There's people that are trying to get me to notice something. So anyways, I know all that stuff is real and true, but I just think that those people, those beings down there, even though they were in the inner earth, they were still in a different realm. Because you could even think about like fairies or something, and they are at a very high frequency, but they're still around. Like, there's all different realms. There's all different places to explore and ways to experience this natural habitat, unnatural habitat, this created stage event. So anyways, but to me, it's like the more that you can get that in your mind, and the more that you can realize like nothing can happen to you. So many people go around thinking like that they are protecting themselves, like something could happen at any moment and that they've got to be the ones to protect themselves. It's like, no, nothing's going to happen until it's meant to happen. It's always going to happen exactly the way it's supposed to happen at the exact time it's supposed to happen. And you don't have control over when or how things are going to happen. You only have control over your attitude that it takes to get there, and what it goes through when you get to the experience. Like, that's what you have control over. So anyways, now let me think if there was anything else. Well, wherever you are and whatever you're doing today, enjoy your day. If you're trying to break free from Christmas, don't be mad at other people because they are still partaking in it. Is everybody has their own experience and their own roles, and that's where you have to look at yourself and what you're putting off of, what you think, how you feel, that you think everybody else should accommodate your feelings and what you think. And really, we're here to find and form our own independence. So just recognizing yourself and your own attitude is, what helps you grow. But everybody is, going to be there's going to be all different things. I'm sure there's going to be all different things going all day. And there's probably going to be, wouldn't surprise me if there's a fucking train derailment and a fucking earthquake going off and parties and shootings and it will be probably the whole gamut. Everything will go through this whole day. Everything's just going to keep going from now on. It's just going to keep on spinning and spinning faster and faster and faster. Crazier and crazier things are just going to keep happening. And man, there's just so many crazy things that you hear. It's like you can't even keep up with them all. There's just wild things going on. So, and it's just wild because when I was driving, and just when someone's coming at you head on like that, in that whole line of cars, where it seemed like, man, this is it. And then, that it's not it. But when you have those little faced things, it always makes you think more. But really, nothing can happen to you that's not meant to happen. And I think that's something that's really important for people to really get it into your mind. When something happens to you, it's meant to happen to you. And there's no God that's out trying to punish you. It's not like you can do everything right and then, nothing goes wrong. But then when something goes wrong, well, you must have made a mistake. You must have did something wrong. You must be bad. No, it's not any of that stuff. Everything is meant to just happen. It's just cycles. It's just different things. Sometimes things are going good and sometimes things are going bad. When things are going bad, you're in a time of learning. When things are going good, you're in a time of rest. And then you will always get tests and stuff. Like, I don't know how these other people think. Like, it's so strange. So anyways, but that's my understanding. That's how I have lived my life. So I'm not just making this stuff up. I've lived this way. This is how I've lived my life. So, I've seen the evidence. So I don't know. I don't know. I feel like that there's a lot of people out there saying stuff. They have no evidence. It's just a thought that came into their mind. And then it's just like Miss Lady Lucifer Lover. It's like, where do you go question where these thoughts are coming from? And especially when you're acknowledging that you're pulling them from dark energy. It's like, man, you might want to learn a little bit more about energy and how you focus and what you're focused on and what you're pulling into you. And this dark energies, they communicate. They make you, I don't know. It's that can be intoxicating, but you got to use your discernment. You got to think things through. So anyways, now, just have the day that you want to have. whatever it is, whatever you want to do with your day. Don't get caught up in the stereotypical, the day that they created for us. Make it your day, whatever day that is, and just know that this is a huge shuffle, and everybody's having different kinds of days and different kinds of experiences. But that doesn't mean that they're going to all stay in the dark. It can be having events that's going to push them into the light, because everything is bringing people into the light. Everybody's going to be blinded by the light. Nobody's going to be able to stay in the dark, whether or not that they can use their own consciousness to be able to become at peace with what they're going to learn and what's going to be shown to them. That is going to be up to each soul. Just like when I'm seeing her at the hospital and, seeing how trapped she is. And it's like, nobody can get you out of there unless you are the one who has to start. It's like a prison break. You got to take the file and start filing away at these things that are trapping you, that are holding you in, the things that make you feel like you can't trust anybody, and you've got to just stay completely guarded in this little prison, that in all the voices that just keep you in there, trying to convince you that that's the only safe place. But that's how that dark energy works. Keep you in isolation, keep you defeated. And you got to go out and you got to start doing a prison break, start getting the files and filing, even if it's a slow process. And even if you got to take the most easiest freaking challenge, speaking up to grandma for the first time, whatever your challenge is, to start breaking free from what you've imprisoned yourself with, your self-worth, your place, how people feel about you, who you can trust, who you can't trust, all of whatever it is that has you trapped. It's up to you to start, getting yourself out of that prison. Nobody can get you out of it. It's only you. Anybody can stand outside of it and keep telling you and keep hollering in at you and keep telling you, you can come out, you can come out. But when a soul feels scared and trapped and feels hurt and in pain, then that's very difficult. And it's, it's hard to see when people are in pain. So anyways, just keep that in mind when you are seeing people in pain. It's not the time to, kick them while they're down. So I think a lot of people are going to do that. I think when this awakening happens, and there's going to be a lot of people who are in shock, a lot of people who are going to be saying things, and then there'll be people who will use it against them. Well, you should have seen that. Well, I tried telling you. I tried. And I just think that's not the time to do that, to just kick somebody while they're down. Just, it's like throwing dirt in their face. It's like, we got to be more uplifting, building people up, saying, yeah, it's hard. It's hard when all of a sudden you see, and, and of course there's going to be times when you're like, yeah, that's what I kept trying to tell you. It's really hard. It's horrible. But you can't get people to see what they can't see. You got to make sure that these people also understand they weren't meant to wake up before they wake up. It's not like they did anything wrong. It's not like that they, other people woke up. No, it's all the different challenges to the different perspectives. Everybody is learning it from different perspectives, because that's what the universe depends on. So anyways, enough of today's lecture. Have a great day, and I'll talk to you in the morning. Talk to you later. Bye.